Okay, now we're going to be working on the derivative rules square root function. But it's not just the square root function, it's any radicals. And it really is a version, whoops, of the power rule. So it's not too bad if you remember that when you have a radical, rewrite it as a fractional exponent. So for this one right here, you rewrite, you take the derivative, you rewrite it, you don't put an equal sign there, take the derivative of this radical function and rewrite with a fractional exponent. And so now, when you take the derivative, this 1/2 will come down in front, and then 1/2 subtract 1. Well, 1 can be rewritten as 2 over 2. 1/2 subtract 2 over 2 is negative 1 over 2. So when you end up having 1/2 x to the negative 1/2, remember that could be rewritten as 1/2 x to the 1/2. Well, once you have that as a fractional exponent, you can put it back in the radical form. So let's do another one. So we have 3 times the cube root of x. So we're going to rewrite it. Whoops. So that's 3 times x to the 1/3 power. So when we find the derivative of that, 3 times the 1/3 will come down in front. Those will cancel. And that becomes x to the 1/3 subtract 1, which becomes x to the negative 2/3. And then you're going to go ahead and rewrite for it to be 1 over, and you can leave it as x to the 2/3, or this is now going to be the cube root of x squared. So that means the same as this. So either form. So let's try another one. Let me cover all this up. Whoops. So we have the 4th root of 5x. Now notice the coefficient is inside the radical. So we're going to rewrite with the coefficient inside the radical. And then when we find the derivative, so dy dx is equal to 5 times, oops, sorry about that. We're going to 1/4, that whole, let me think about this. So that becomes this, and the 5x stays like this. And then this becomes 1/4, subtract 1. And then look at, there is a function inside a function. So now we have to multiply by the derivative of this function. So this is not only a radical, but a chain rule. So now we have to multiply, the derivative of 5x is 5. So let's simplify all of that. So we have dy dx is equal, well, 1/4 times 5 is 5/4. And then we have 1/4 subtract 1 is the same as negative 3/4. So this thing right here is now to a negative exponent. So that's going to come down here, 5x to the positive 3/4. So dy dx, I'm going to put it in radical form, is 5 over 4 times the 4th root of 5x in parentheses cubed, because the whole thing is being cubed, so you have to put that in parentheses. All right, that is it for using the square root rule, which is just a form of the power rule, and you can use it on other radicals besides the square root.